Hi, Game Changers. I'm here to tell you about my passion project. What I decided to do for my passion project is to host a workshop, and it's a group coaching event that will involve building a terrarium. And the terrarium is a metaphor. The metaphor started in a coaching session I was in with the coach that I hired for our class. And we were talking about boundaries and self-care. And I came up with the metaphor of a terrarium, and the terrarium represented me as a person. And as I got thinking more and more about it, I realized that a terrarium has a lot of application as a metaphor in the areas, especially of boundaries and self-care. So I decided for my project to do a workshop that people come together and they build a terrarium. And through that building of a terrarium, we talk about how all the layers of a terrarium and all the pieces that come together represent living a vibrant and thriving life by exercising healthy choices, especially in the areas of boundaries and self-care. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a taste of what this workshop would look like. And my hope and dream is to someday actually carry it out where we can actually come together in groups and launch that as a place to begin conversations about boundaries and self-care. So when you think of a terrarium, you think of two different types. The first type is an enclosed terrarium. So you have a glass container with a lid and all the plants and all the things are inside of it, and it creates a thriving environment for growth. The second type of terrarium is more of a planter, and it's got an open top. You plant plants in it, they grow, and it's a similar thing. But in the case of the workshop that I will be hosting, it will be a closed terrarium. Now, one caveat, I do have a terrarium here, and I'll show it to you here. This is my little terrarium I made. This is an open terrarium. It's a kit that I received as a gift at Christmas that I built. But for the purpose of this workshop, we're going to pretend that this has a lid and that it's enclosed. So when we come together in the workshop, we start with the glass container. Everybody brings their own container because each of us is a terrarium. So you choose what you want it to look like, and you make sure that it's one that has a lid. So the first part is the container, and it represents boundaries. Boundaries are the ways that you are interacting with the world around you. Boundaries are about what you let in, what you keep out in order to live a healthy life. So when you think of the terrarium, if you're going to let somebody into your life, you take off that lid for a while. You let them in. They've earned that right to be in your life. However, if there are people in your life maybe who are toxic people, you have a choice to keep your lid on your terrarium that is you. And you only allow in who has earned a right to be in. Toxic people can keep out. The next part of a terrarium is building it up from the inside out. So we're going to start with the foundational level, which is some rocks or some pebbles. And I'll just show you in my little terrarium here. The very bottom level, you can see the pebbles here. Pebbles represent self-care. It's a foundation for the terrarium and for yourself. What are your core beliefs? What are my attitudes? What do I want to have as my foundation for living a thriving and healthy life? The other goal of pebbles, the other function, is drainage. Drainage is what you let sift through. Maybe there's things in your life that aren't working for you. So let them just sift away, let them drain away. The next layer of the terrarium would be the activated charcoal. The activated charcoal sits between the pebbles, the foundation, and the soil that you use for the plants. Activated charcoal represents boundaries. The goal of activated charcoal is to absorb toxins. It's to keep the environment more healthy. And so when you think about it personally, you're dealing with things that come into your world that aren't working for you, that are toxic, that are causing negative narratives. It might be your gremlin or your saboteur telling you things that aren't true. So the goal with the activated charcoal is to take that in, to absorb it, and to rid yourself of that toxic way of thinking, of believing, or of seeing the world. The next layer is the potting soil. Soil is used for self-care. It's nutrition. It's how the plants are fed. So when I think about the potting soil for my life, I think about what am I doing to be healthy? What is my diet like? How am I eating a nutritious diet? Am I exercising? What sort of community do I have around me? What am I doing to grow myself with prayer, meditation, mindfulness? What sort of things am I reading? What sort of things am I watching? Are these things that will feed the plants that are the essence of who I am? Another part of the terrarium, and you can see in my little terrarium here, is this little whimsical figurine. It's an owl in mine. You can choose whatever you'd like for yours. And one of my values is play and fun. And so I added something fun and whimsical to my terrarium because that's an important value to me. So an example of it is community, fun, laughter, playing games, maybe a sport, watching sporting events, whatever it might be that brings fun and play, and even laughing at yourself, being able to have a whimsical mindset even toward yourself, and enabling loving yourself in the right way. The last part of the terrarium are the plants. And the plants really are sort of a representation of what the environment is in your terrarium. So if you see a terrarium and the plants are thriving and they're green, and I think in this one, it's an open one, and so they're growing right out of the top of the terrarium. So these are thriving, healthy plants. And the reason they're thriving and healthy is because I've created this environment for them to live in, which gives them the best chance to be green and thriving and vibrant. So when you're creating the terrarium of your life, what are you doing to create vibrant, healthy growth in your life? So all the pieces of the terrarium come together, and the plants represent how it's working for you. So what maybe needs to change? What needs to be different in your life and in the environment that you're creating inside of your personhood to bring about healthy plant growth, healthy ways of living, so that you can have that thriving life? So building a terrarium to me is just a great metaphor for building a strong, thriving, and vibrant life. It's living with intentionality. It's about exercising boundaries, and it is about self-care. It's basically living from a place of values, and in doing so, you can find fulfillment. I thank you for letting me share my exciting passion project with you. I can't wait till I can actually carry out this workshop, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you.